I'm Summer.
And I'm Mike.
And we got married.
With children.
We're going on 2 years of marriage.
But we've been together for 10.
He brought 2.
She brought 2.
Together, that's 4 kids.
That's way too many kids.
And we want to share what works for us.
And what doesn't.
For step-parents, co-parents, marriage, being your best self, managing work, family, friends, health. We're going to talk about
everything.
You ready, babe?
Always.
Hey guys, it is Mike and Summer, and we are here with episode number 2 of the Everything Always podcast.
Hello.
Super excited to do this. Super excited if you're listening to episode 2. That means you may have enjoyed episode 1. So welcome. And
okay, so here's the deal. We are in Park City, Utah right now. Couple days before Summer's company Christmas party. There is a ton of snow on the ground. We are sitting in a super cool little mountain lodge, 1-bedroom place. That's awesome. And we are having an amazing time.
It's awesome. And we did a full, well, maybe not a full day, but a good day of shopping. We actually did like a workout this morning. We went to the indoor
swimming pool, hot tub
thing. Did a sauna.
It was pretty cool and a very leisurely hangout day.
Yeah, it was nice.
Except for the 3 hours of shopping.
I just want to make a note really quickly that
you don't have to tell this story.
I like to make decisions, and Mike likes to take a really long time to make decisions. So anyways, here we are, and we're excited to be with you. I'm hoping that this sounds good because
the only decision was whether or not the coat was going to fit or not. I'm like, it fits now, but I'm going to lose so much weight. I should get the smaller one. Anyway, not to get into all that. Let's get back to
You look great in the coat. You look great in the coat. So we're actually recording on our phone because we're in Park City and we just
broke the cord.
And the cord to the microphone broke. So, and we're only on episode 2. So
truth be told, we're sitting here at the kitchen table, recording onto an iPhone, sipping on a little bit of red wine, just a little. And we're excited to tell you a little bit about our story. And how we met, and to maybe give you a little insight into how we got together and a little bit about ourselves.
Yeah, so we're gonna invite you into us and our story, and really the purpose is that we want to talk about being proud of your story as well. So whatever situation you are in, you know that there can be some shame when it comes to divorce or splitting up a family. There's that whole period of it's either embarrassment, it's, oh my gosh, I have failed. And if you have met somebody new, maybe there's even some shame in how you met them. There's so many different stories that we have heard, and we just wanted to share our story. And I'm sure it's going to be different. And that's the beauty of it, is that everybody has a unique story. And the goal of this episode really is to be proud of that story, no matter what it is.
There's a lot to be said about tough journeys and the lessons that are gained from having to go through struggle and having to, take a perfect scenario that you have in your mind when it breaks, figuring out a way to put it back together and make it even bigger and better, and creating a story and a life that's awesome. Right?
Well, exactly.
And there is no reason why you can't have all of that with a little dedication and focus.
Yes. There's 3 things that we really want to highlight, and it is about honoring your story and where you're at and the story of your family and your situation. The next thing is, really to let go of what was, because you can't change what was. You can't at all. All you can do is be grateful for the experience, because it's leading you to who you are today. And if you don't like who you are today, you don't like how you're handling situations, or you don't like your situation, the only choice you have is to change it to make it better.
It's true. And I know, you hear somebody go, oh, hey, check it out. You should just get over it and you appreciate your situation. But that's not what we're saying. Of course, there's pain and hurt and all of those things that come with splitting up, and probably a lot of anger and resentment one way or another. Even if, regardless of your situation, anger and resentment seems to be the byproduct for both people. Mm-hmm. But holding on to that anger and holding on to that resentment will only bring you down.
Yeah.
And the sooner you can say, okay, regardless of how I got here, I'm going to let that go. I'm going to free myself of those chains. And I'm going to figure out a way to be happy and forgive and move forward, the sooner you can be a whole person.
Nice.
Wow, I didn't even know that was in there.
I love it.
Wow. Okay.
And then the third thing is, this might sound a little bit cheesy, but I really want to talk about, like, what is your story going to be? Like, look into the future, and what does your family situation look like? What does your relationship with your partner look like right now, as if you were in the future? I have been doing visualization stuff since before anyone was before the internet. Like, I swear I've been doing it forever. And I think it's like the most amazing thing. And I did it hardcore when I got divorced. It was like therapy for me. That's the other thing we're going to cover. So I think before we get, do some more diving into those three things, we want to share with you our story, because the hope here is that you get to know us. I hope you like us and you keep listening. So let's tell our story, baby. And go.
Oh, okay. Just like that. Well, I mean, I guess I could start by saying I'm Michael Mulder. I'm 43 years old. I'm a father to 2 and a dad to 4. And even though a couple of them call me Mike, they're still my kids. And I can say that I'm really, really happy about our family. And I appreciate the fact that we aren't perfect and that we struggle and that every day there's something else. And sometimes people don't like each other. But we do our best to try to, be as blended and to have that oneness.
And what makes it worth it is because there's those moments where everyone just loves each other and you're just like, what? And I would say we have an equal blend, more so now as they're older and mature. There's a lot more.
Man, but there's been struggles back and forth.
And it's all these years, there's been struggles.
And I can tell you that, the two kids from different parents may hate each other one year, but get ready, because the next year they could be BFFs and then hate each other again. And it can go back and forth, and similar to what real siblings do.
It is. I mean, it is so similar. I mean, I think of that, and I'm kind of excited because our daughters have talked about sharing their story. And what's interesting is they're in this like super phase of loving each other, to the point where I go to pick them up from school and they're screaming at each other if, one daughter's going home with her mom and then my daughter's coming home with me. They're just like, my daughter's like, roll down the window, and she screams out at her, and she's like, they're both like, I love you. And it's pretty adorable.
Flashback 2 years when they were
2 years before
twins.
When they were just, one was becoming a teen
sister.
Exactly. Like, all that stuff happens, but it's just part of.
It is. And so back to my story for just a
yes,
quick
go back.
second. So
go
I'll
back
tell
to the
you.
Story.
Obviously, I brought 2 kids, Justin and Ashlyn, into our family. Prior to that, I was married. I was married for 6 years. And like many people, and like 50% of all people that get married, stuff happened. Bad stuff happened. Distance happened. Lack of communication happened. Lack of shared, values or goals or direction. And I'm not going to get into all that stuff because you know what? That's not relevant really to what we're talking about. But I can tell you, it's the same story that everybody has. One way or another, there's something that happened that led me to no longer being married again. And I can tell you, after that, it also left me feeling like I never want to be married again. I want to have fun. I want to be in charge of my own life. I will, do what I want when I want and have, a good old jolly time. And, I won't jump into how Summer and I met yet, because I'll let her give her a little
What?
her background.
I thought that's where we were going
her
with
background
this.
To like, who you are, how many kids you have, and whatever. And then we'll tell the story of how we met one fateful night on the beach after the shark attack. And, luckily I was able to rescue her. And it was basically love at first sight after that. No, that's not the story.
That's not the story. But since you're going that route, Mike has had a tradition of every time somebody asks, how did you meet? Especially when it's strangers, and he comes up with this incredible story, and I chime in, and we end up like making up something that should probably be a movie. And people are like, that is so amazing. They start bringing over their other friends.
You got to hear their story.
You have to hear their story.
Wait a second. I can't remember exactly all the bull crap we were just saying.
But the reality is here it goes. So I too was married and had 2 kids. I went through a divorce for similar reasons, because guess what? Our situation, it's not unique to us. Like divorce and all this that's going on is not unique to us. We get it. This is happening around the world. Sure, there's little variations and different things that are happening. Some may be a little bit more extreme, others not, whatever it is, but it's all relative and it's all kind of, it's a family feeling very broken is what it is. I actually got divorced when I was pregnant with my daughter. And so it was extremely hard and extremely devastating. And after she was close to a year old was kind of that time where the kids were having more visits, or I don't know, I was starting to experience more time as a mom where it was like, oh my gosh, I have this whole afternoon or I have this whole evening to myself, which was kind of like, what do I do? And I had, the girlfriends and everyone saying, you should date. So, I tried the dating thing a little bit, not too much, actually. I have a couple, less than a handful of dates that I went out on and whatever. But anyways, I was on Match.com because that was the thing at that time. There was no whatever, all the stuff that's happening now, Tinder and swiping and all that.
I'm glad you were never on Tinder.
I don't think I would have been a good Tinder candidate.
I'm freaking hoping
I don't
weren't.
relate to that app. But anyways, it's all fine. It's all, no judgment there at all. I'm just saying, I haven't even checked it out really. So anyways, obviously, but
Listen, you're getting flustered.
I'm getting all flustered. So yeah, that's how Mike and I met. And he had sent a message over to me that he had gone to Pepperdine and I went to Pepperdine, and it was such a cool thing for me. I was very scared. I didn't have a lot of dating experience before I got married. I didn't have a lot after I got divorced. It kind of was like this, comfort thing, like, oh, cool. So I immediately was open to talking to this person.
She had super cute profile pictures. That was my main motivating factor. I'm like, oh, she went to Pepperdine? You know what? I went to Pepperdine. I only missed her by 1 year. I think that could be
He did only miss me by 1 year.
A great opener.
It was. So he left right when I came in. Then he transferred to another school. But anyways, let's not drag this out too long. But we went out on our first date. And on that first date, I freaking proved how inexperienced I was, because I think I freaked out.
She was so tough.
After the first date, we had a great time. And we had a really great first date. But I freaked out right after that going, oh, that went really well.
We went to Del Mar Sushi.
We did.
Summer's too short to ride a beach cruiser.
Yeah, we were going to go because we both ride bikes. I was super into bikes. He was like, oh, well, come on over and we'll take out some beach cruisers. Okay, great.
And go grab a bite to eat.
And my legs are really short. I'm not a tall person at all. And I couldn't even reach it, even with the seat at the lowest setting. So we had this great first date. I asked all the questions you're not supposed to ask on the first date. So why'd you get divorced? Why'd this happen? What's the custody split? What's this? What's that? Got to hear what type of man you are.
She was digging right into it. I'm like, okay, hold on a second. Time out.
He was taking deep breaths whoa, what did I get myself into?
This is third date material.
Yeah.
And come to find out. Well, keep going. You're doing a great job.
Okay. So, I feel like this is probably the point where you take over, because second and third date are pretty intense.
You get through second.
Well, second date happened when I said we should just be friends. And Mike was like, all right, slow your roll. We haven't even started yet. And
don't pump the brakes.
Exactly. And you're freaking out. I'm like, yeah, I just don't know if this is right. All right, the stupid
hold on.
things.
But you're making it sound, we had really amazing chemistry. We had great conversation.
We absolutely did.
And I can tell you this, and I don't know if I've ever told you this before, but I pretty much knew right from the very beginning that this girl was amazing. We shared common values.
Aww.
I loved the way that she was well-spoken. She had this fun, bubbly smile and this little twinkle in her eye. And there was this thing about her. I'm like, she's super genuine. I really like this girl. Okay, keep going.
Well, all I knew is that I really liked hanging out with him. Beyond that was kind of maybe a lot like for me to handle at that time. But I would say I was in a vulnerable position at that time emotionally and everything. And when he had said, we can just hang out as friends. So I was open to that. I was like, okay. We spent a lot of time. We talked on the phone a lot, even before the first date.
That might be listening. You know what that means.
Yeah.
Wink,
yeah.
wink.
I even had his friends reach out to me like anonymously saying, oh, by the way,
you're not going to be friends.
You're not going to be friends. Mike always gets what he wants.
That is not true. But
okay, maybe not. So we were having great conversations. It was right. I remember it was election year, and it was right at the time that Obama got elected. And I remember like talking on the phone and all the horns honking and all kinds of stuff. And we were just entering in the holiday season. So everything was pretty slow. It would be like a week, since we would see each other. But second date did happen, and we went out to a movie and to dinner. And Mike was really bold because
if you ever want to make a girl not like you, take her to a Twilight movie.
Yeah, we went to see the Twilight movie,
okay, but let's...
You're my own personal brand of heroin. So we went to the movie and we were out at dinner, and he's like, you've got a lot of family on the East Coast. I actually have to go out to the East Coast for business. You should come with me. And
which is really bold for me because I had some seriously important business to take care of.
Yeah.
But I was like, wow, what a great opportunity. I can get some serious quality time. And it was bold for me. And I remember how nervous I was to ask because, I don't know, that was like a lot of pressure, right?
Oh, yeah. And I was just kind of like, is he joking? Is this real? And then, we kept talking and on the phone, and he was like, I'm serious. And these are the dates that I'm going, and you should come with me. And it was right before Christmas, I think, because
it was because we went to Rockefeller.
It was Rockefeller, exactly.
It was probably the first or second week in December.
I was like, gosh, this sounds crazy. And I talked to my girlfriends about it. I talked to my mom. My mom is like so protective of me.
Talk
with
about out of
anything.
Character.
So out of character. And my mom's like, because I had already told her things about him. And she's like, I just have this feeling you should go. And I was like, do you understand that he's practically a stranger? Like, I may have talked to him on the phone, but like, I've seen him 2 times. I'm going to see him a 3rd time before actually going. This is crazy. And she's like, I think you should go. Whatever, being at this point in my life that I said yes. And I flew out. He was there days before I flew out. He said, why don't you go and spend some time with your family and then we'll meet up. And that's what happened. The first experience was, I remember I had my cousin who was with me, like, I'm going to take you, like, call me, text me, like, make sure you're okay.
Check in every 2 hours.
Yeah.
If it's a serial killer, I'll be there with my Jersey bat.
Oh yeah. And I remember I get to the hotel and I'm sitting there and he calls me and he's like, I'm running super late. We had this meeting. We were in Philadelphia, blah, 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 blah. He's talking about all these things that it's going to take him so long. And I'm like, oh, bummer. Okay. So I'm just going to hang out in the lobby here, like, and just wait until he comes.
Needless to say,
these 2 women are sitting across from me and they're totally giggling. And I'm like, why are they looking at me and giggling? And I guess were you signaling to them?
I was literally
like
standing right behind you.
He was standing right behind me talking, and he was there the whole time. And that was the beginning of a trip that you have to tell the story of.
Hey guys, I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for taking a chance on us and listening to our podcast. Our goal is for you to not only learn from us, but to learn with us. We've taken a leap on being pretty open about our blended family and how we do life in everything. We want to make sure we bring you all the things you want to hear, always. So please, if you have specific questions like, how do I get along with my ex? Or how do I get along with his ex? Or how do I set some boundaries in place? Or why doesn't my stepson like me? Please email us with your questions. Email them to info@summerfelix.com because we want to answer those questions and we aim to bring you the best guests and conversations to address your most burning issues about everything, always.
I love and hate our New York story. I can tell you this, we met, I can't remember the hotel we were staying at, doesn't really matter. We met, we got changed, we went to dinner, we had a great evening. It led to a few drinks after dinner. And I can tell you that the chemistry was so thick that you literally couldn't cut it with a knife.
That's true.
Like, it was solid. I can also tell you that that night was our first kiss. Mm-hmm. And it was our first and like 100th kiss that night. I'm not a PDA guy. Like, I'm the guy that's like, hey, we can hold hands or something like that. But I'm not like a whatever. That bar must have thought that we were off our rockers. Yeah. Because it was just on.
We're super TMI right now.
I know, totally, right? But the real deal is that I, throughout the night, was going like, holy crap. I never thought that I would actually want to be back in this like situation again. And I'll be a little vulnerable here, that I'd be willing to open up my heart and actually, be a little bit open to maybe being in something serious, right? You're a little wounded and you're a little scarred after you go through the stuff that you go through. Mm-hmm. And, we're going to keep this nice and polite and short, but I can tell you this. Obviously, like we both have, moral standards, all that stuff. So like, get the dirty thoughts out of your mind.
Dirty thoughts out of your mind. No, that did not happen.
No, that did
I'm
not
a good
happen.
girl.
but at the same time, man, like I woke up the next morning going, wow, what an amazing evening. I am smitten. This is the one. Like, I'm like so excited to be like, I'm dating now. Like, I'm going to forget about just lightly dating, or I like to date lots of different people at the same time to keep it light. I was like, I'm all in. I'm ready. Like, she is the one. So let me tell you a little bit what happened in the morning now, right? So now I'm like, hey, you know what? This is freaking awesome. Like, whatever. And I literally can picture you walking up to me at about 8:30 in the morning saying, okay, listen, last night was super fun, but I can't do this. We need to be friends. And by the way, like, we are not dating.
Those weren't my words, but that was my.
That was pretty much the little Reader's Digest version of, we are not going to be together. You're scary, and I need to go home.
It was a lot. It was intense. It was a lot of things, and my focus was just like babies, career. Like, this is a lot. I'm guarded. There were a lot of things going on.
Well, I can tell you, now looking back on it, the motivation wasn't that she didn't like me.
No, it wasn't.
She was terrified to go to that level again.
Well, it makes you have to be very vulnerable again, and it makes you have to open your heart and all of that, which the only word that I can describe is it feels very intense. And I felt like I had so much of intensity going on that it was just like, oh my gosh, what would I be opening myself up to? And so you never pressured, but you never stopped chasing either.
Well, and then flash forward, we get back to San Diego and everything's cool and we are staying in touch, but it's very, we're not together.
Oh, there would be like a movie here or there, or like something.
Occasional text, occasional phone call, but always in the back of my mind, I was like, the feeling that I felt in New York was unique. Mm-hmm. There's something about this girl that I really like. And it's like one of those things that you just can't get out of your brain. It continues to turn. And our lives sort of separated for a long time.
I mean, like a couple months or something.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know. It seems so long. But then I remember when we actually went out on a date and it was just kind of like, can we take this slow? Can we take this slow? Anybody who knows us knows that we definitely took things slow. I mean, we were together for 7 years before we got engaged. We've been married. We're a year and a half into marriage. Yeah, we took our time, but I'm so glad we did. I'm so grateful for that.
And it was, I think actually, if you use the fishing analogy, right? Mm-hmm. If you're trying to catch a marlin, you get it on the hook. You got to let it run. You got to reel a little bit. If it's worth catching, you let it run again. The little old man in the sea analogy here, basically, like, you want it bad enough, you'll let it kill you.
Yeah.
Okay, so now, I feel like we're...
Well, I think one underlying point, which is so great, because when we ever talk about our story, Mike will always... How is it that you say it? Because you say it better than I will, but you say the things that are... Like, you don't appreciate the things that come so easy. You appreciate the things that took... How do you say it? You say it so much better than I do.
Well, okay, I'm not exactly sure how I say it, but I can tell you the sentiment of what you're saying. And I know that the things that you have to work for, the things that don't come easy, the things that require struggle and challenge are the things that you will appreciate.
Yeah.
They are the things that you will cherish. And it doesn't matter if it's a relationship. It doesn't matter if it's that classic car that you put 1,000 hours into. That thing will be something that you super love.
Well, that's it. And so I think that kind of like when you think about the story and however you got to your story, I know there's so many different stories out there, but that's it. It's probably wasn't easy. That's the thing, is there was something wasn't easy. There was something either blocking you, whether it was your own self getting in your way or your emotions or the timeliness of it, or maybe it was shame or maybe whatever it was, but you had to.
We'll talk more about our relationship and the back and forth.
Oh, that's all going to come out. That's all going to come out as we talk about these things. But
in general, we wanted to take a few minutes and tell you a little bit about our story.
Yeah.
And, talk about the fact that, man, we have had some struggles. We have broken up multiple times. We have been to the brink of not being together.
Yep, absolutely.
And so there is no rose garden here with all like fluffy pillows and balloons. But at the end of the day, if you believe in something enough, you'll figure out how to make it to make it work. You'll figure out a way to make it work. And, I get a little, whatever. Anyway.
No, it's true though. I mean, that's absolutely what it is. And there are times when I feel super weak. And Mike is the strong person that's just like, no, you've got to look at the bigger picture. Like, look at where this is going. Or, I will freak out if like, oh my gosh, these two aren't getting along. This is, it's like a big ordeal. And then there's times where he's the weak one. And I'm like, no, we are stronger than this. These are the things that you start to learn how you get to support each other. And here's what's really amazing. And this is because we're years into this dynamic of our family of 6, is when your kids start to notice that, when your kids like actually start to go, oh my gosh, you guys are so, like, my heart melts when I hear Ashlyn say like, I want what you guys have. You guys are so adorable. You guys are this, or, it's like those things like, you guys just love each other so much and you this. It's like, oh my gosh. Like you start to realize the things like, oh, they actually see that? Do they see it? Because we feel these things, but then you also feel the stress too. And so you're like, anyways, I'm going off, but back to the focal point. So I really want to like for you listeners to have some takeaways here. Like think about your story and your situation and how you got that. Like, and, maybe take a minute to think like, am I carrying shame? Because who knows how you got to your story, the relationship you're in, the situation that you're in. Is there shame that you are carrying? Because I promise you that's not going to help anything. What's going to help is knowing where you're at and looking at how you can make that situation better. And think about like the situation that you're in and ask yourself what you can celebrate. Like what's actually really awesome about today? Like it might be, it was great because I got to have one-on-one time with my stepson and he was telling me all about this girl that he super likes and we got to bond and I got to give him advice. I mean, it's things like that. Think about those situations. Or maybe it's something that happened with you and your spouse, or maybe it's something that happened with your.
So could we give like a takeaway, maybe like a challenge or like something that like people could do, something that you do?
Absolutely.
Tell them what you do. And then maybe people will want to do the same thing.
Okay. So
come on, you're beating around the bush. Get to it.
We actually did this today when we went out to lunch. We did, what is this time of year in 2019 look like for us?
We do that.
What have we accomplished?
I thought you were going to talk about writing down the things that you're grateful for.
Well, this plays into that.
Okay.
This plays into that because it talks about, your vision of where you want to go. And so this is something that I practice like in so many different ways. I've, like I said earlier in today's episode, is that I have done this for years and years and years. Even when I went through my divorce, I would talk about, okay, how does this situation turn into something good? And it forces your brain to think of all of the good things. It's almost like you're thinking of it as a movie. Okay, this happened, but then all of these amazing things happen. But what I do is like, I'll first think about, 5 things that I am so grateful for, even the silliest of things. And I'll do this every single morning. But if you could do something today where you take out, your laptop and open up Word, or maybe you take out a notebook and a pen and you just list 5 things that you super love about your family and the dynamic right now. Forget about the, oh my gosh, there's chaos. Forget about the scheduling conflicts. Like, talk about the things you're grateful for. Like, I love seeing my spouse's daughter sit on his lap and love him up. It's a good feeling. I love watching him as a dad. Or I love coming home and my wife asking me about my day. Or I love that my girlfriend sent me this amazing hot picture of herself today. I don't know. It could be anything.
Could be grateful for that.
That's something to be grateful for. I'm just saying. So like things like that, like just think about those things that you're grateful for in the situation you are in now. And then look 3 years ahead. I love the 3 years thing. I've done this with my team, and I do this personally. Like, I've read this book called Vivid Vision. It's amazing. And like, I write out this whole vision of like, this is what my life is in 3 years. This is what my business is in 3 years. And I'm telling you, like it creates a mindset for you. And I would say, dare to be so bold and big in this vision. If you are like, my stepson hates me, or my daughter won't even talk to me, or whatever the thing is, go bold and write out what you want it to be. Write out like, my husband's ex-wife and my ex-husband, all of us like get along so well. It's so awesome. We respect each other's boundaries. We respect each other's space, but we're all about it. We're in it for the kids, and there is no drama. Like, write that out. Write what it looks like. We all show up to graduation together and we're friendly and we're nice. Write that stuff out, because honestly, and write it as if it's happening, as if it's like, this is how it is. When I go to these functions, it's awesome.
It's true. And so, I mean, man, this is some law of attraction stuff, right?
Well, it is. And I'm not,
let me give you my input in terms of what I think the science is. You talk about goal setting. I think it's really, you take the time to know what you want. You take the time to know where you want to go. You take the time to know what you want to achieve. And our bodies, our brain, like the thing inside of us is so smart. It will lay out a path to make that possible.
Yeah.
It will connect the dots from where you want to be in 3 years, 1 year, 1 month, whatever that thing is. It will connect the dots, and it will help you lay a course to accomplish your goals.
It's so true.
But if you're just out there, just cruising through life, and you have no predetermined course, no final destination, no goal, no vivid vision, you're going to get nowhere. You're going to get nowhere super quick.
And also, don't think that just because you have this vision, though, which is, you want to be focused on that. Don't think that the challenges aren't going to come about in between, because they do.
Oh, and the hard work.
It's just knowing where you're going to go, okay, got derailed a little bit there, but it's okay, because I still know where I'm going and I intend to go there. So I think that's an important thing to remember. And I also think is that it might be a bit of a challenge, but just do it. Just put yourself on a timer for 5 minutes and just write the crap out of it.
The thing is, don't think it. Put it on paper.
Just put it on paper.
When you put it on paper or type it into your computer or voice text it to yourself, it becomes real.
That's a good one. While you're driving in the car, just talk it out on your voice memo and then transcribe it. All right. Yeah. So we really just wanted to share a little bit more about us. I wanted to give you...
We're Mike and Summer.
Hi, we're Mike and Summer.
We're really glad that you're listening. Thank you.
Thank you for listening.
And guess what? This is as much fun for us As hopefully.
And hopefully it is for you.
Maybe in the comments you'll be like, you guys suck.
You might. That's okay.
I hope you don't.
I really hope you don't. The main takeaways, be proud of your story. And just remember, you are where you're at now. You can't change what was. You can only change what is now. And think about what is your story. Like, think about where you're going to be 3 years from now. What's the story that you're going to tell for other people in 4 years or in 5 years or in 10 years? Like, what does that look like? And I challenge you, honestly, at the end of this, if you have a moment today, take out the paper, take out the pen, take out the laptop, the word pad, whatever you use after your voice memos, and just like get it all out. Like, as if somebody has the magic button to make all of that come true for you.
Make it
just
real.
Make it, just put it out there. Dare to dream so freaking big. It's so easy for me because I have an imagination that is so ridiculous.
She's a storyteller.
Mike is so logical and so realistic. Like, sometimes like I have to pull it out of him. Like, no, like if anything could happen right now.
I'm like, no.
I know.
Anyway, okay. Let's get back to it. Thank you for listening. You know what? This has been a lot of fun.
Thank you for listening. Remember to email us, DM us. That's direct message because Mike doesn't do a whole lot of Instagramming. But
not a grammar.
He's not a grammar. But send questions because we're starting to get some questions in and we are going to start to develop a theme here. But we want to answer your questions. So if you have something specific, please ask. And we want to address it. We want to start a conversation about it. Please.
And we may not have the answer, but we're doing this together. So we're going to try to figure it out.
Yeah. And if you can take just a hot minute to write a review about the podcast.
Only good ones.
Only good ones.
Only good ones, damn it.
Share this with your friends and whoever you think could actually gain some value from this. And if you think there's more value that we can be bringing, let us know. And thank you. And we can't wait.
Till next time.
Hey guys, thanks so much for listening to our podcast. You know what they say, if you can't find what you're looking for, then you need to create it. So that's what we did.
Yep, I scoured the internet and looked for the tribe that spoke to me, and I just couldn't find the community that was raw, vulnerable, and really wanting to make a change to the millions of families like ours. So I decided to create it. It took about one conversation for my husband to say, I'm in, and here we are.
But it takes listeners like you to keep it alive.
So please, if you like this, write a review, take a screenshot, share it on your social media. Tell people. It means the world to us.
Remember to email us. We would love to hear from you.
And please share this with someone you love.
And be bold enough to share it with someone that you don't.